Andy Duncan, you've had a race row on Celebrity Big Brother, a phone fiddle on Richard and Judy, an on-air apology demanded by Ofcom, which you had to give 3 times, a public fallout with William and Harry, and a rebuke from the Secretary of State for Culture. Why do you and every one of your senior executive team still have your jobs?
I think not the first time we've been asked that question. I mean, if you actually separate what's happened this year, Kevin's just made the point very well, I think. We know that we made mistakes with Celebrity Big Brother, and if you look at what happened, no one set out to make mistakes. It wasn't a deliberate thing. But what Ofcom...
But you did.
Yes, but what Ofcom found, and we fully accept that, is on 3 occasions, and once we repeated it, by not contextualising better what we showed, we actually caused major offence. And it was a mistake not to recognise that at the time and have done something about it. What we did do, I have to say, is comprehensively think about what we'd done and put in place major policies and lessons for the future, which I think we've demonstrated worked.
So are you saying that it is even harder to be fired for incompetence in Channel 4 than it is at the BBC?
It's not a question of being fired for incompetence.
This isn't incompetence? A phone fiddle on Richard and Judy isn't incompetence?
I think there is a different thing. If Big Brother was about offence, I think the phone thing, I have to say, was a much more straightforward issue in the sense it was, right from the outset, clearly completely unacceptable. And what's happened there is something that clearly has affected the whole industry. And it seems to me that there's a big issue for the whole industry about trust, which we debated a little bit yesterday as well. In my mind, there's 2 issues. One is the broadcast industry as a whole has to respect the audience more than it perhaps has done up to now. And in particular, where there's a direct contact with the audience, it's got to take that much more seriously than it has in the past. And then secondly, I think there is a bit of a difference between the phone issues and the deception and fakery issues, although there's been some overlap between the two.
You didn't know about the phone issue.
No,
your controls were wholly inadequate, though you were raking in most of the money, not the company organising the phone calls. You raked in most of the money, and yet you had no controls in order to establish the veracity and honesty of this system.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look...
Is that correct?
To be absolutely clear...
Is that correct?
It's not completely correct, no. What
is it 90% correct?
If you let me answer, I'll tell you. Basically, we had a very clear contract with the telephony supplier who's independently regulated. We had a very clear process that on paper was a good process. In practice, and this is the problem that's beset the whole industry, the difference between what's happening in practice and the agreed process was where the gap fell. And I think the Channel 4 mistake was we weren't monitoring it better and as well as we should do. The key thing is as soon as it came to our attention, we took the competition off air, we made a refund scheme available immediately, and going forward, I have to say that refund scheme is still open. Not that many people have taken up the offer, but we will at any point refund people that have actually lost money. More important than that, actually any profits that we made inadvertently, we will give to charity. Channel 4 will not keep a single penny. And finally, we've decided to pull out completely, because I have to say, we're for public purpose, and I believe very passionately that putting our viewer trust is more important than commercial issues. So we've decided we're simply not doing it anymore.